What does it mean to be Spider-Man? The powers, the one-liners, or something more? I've been working on a Spider-Man fan film titled Spider-Man Missing Mentor, a story about Miles Morales trying to find a missing Peter Parker while also handling the crime in the city. And if you don't know, I'll be playing the role of Miles, aka Spider-Man. I relate to Miles in a few ways, like how he's more creative and struggles in harder classes like I did in high school, or how when he got his powers, he thought that meant he had to be just like Peter Parker. Similar to how I thought I needed to be like other YouTubers if I wanted to make great content. But now I know that's obviously not true. But before I grab the web shooters and put on the mask, I need to realize the responsibility I have for playing this character. Yes, even if it is just a fan film. Because we've all seen what happens when somebody tries to play Spider-Man and their own character doesn't reflect who they're playing. In all seriousness, I have made it a priority to look at myself and evaluate my flaws as a person. Sure, we all think we're good people, but we can always improve, and that's what I've been trying to do. With that being said, for this video, we're focusing on the suit. So I've been working on the suit for a while. My aunt actually got it for me a year ago. Thank you, Auntie Anne. But I wanted to make it look more like the movies, so I got some advice from my friend David because he's basically an expert at this stuff. Like, look at his work. One of the first things I learned was puff painting. Puff paint has a thick texture to give anything that you're painting an extra pop, you know, a little... I think I did a pretty decent job for my first time puff painting until I tried to paint the symbol. I was worried that it looked really bad, but I wanted to get a second opinion before I panicked. So I asked David. Maybe he won't think it looks so bad. He might even like it.
You are not him. You are not him.
But then he told me that I could use a piece of foam or some other material to just cover the emblem, and I realized he's right. The only thing is that's kind of hard to do because that means I have to perfectly cut out the foam with the symbol. But this was my mistake, so I was gonna fix it. I first measured the size of the symbol on the suit. Then I found an image of the same symbol online to cut it out. I don't have a printer, so I ended up using the printer at my job to print it out. But when I brought it home, I realized the symbol wasn't even the same symbol I had on my suit. So I had to print one out that was a bit more accurate when I went back to work. But right after I pressed print, this happened.
Bro, why is it going off? Ugh.
Apparently some kid decided to press the fire alarm. We had to go upstairs and make sure everyone left, but once that was handled, it was fine. I'm just glad it was a false alarm because my suit's not ready. I can't save the day just yet. Anyways, when I got back home, I cut out the symbol using an old piece of floor material. I actually made a few cutouts because I wanted it to be perfect, even though it kind of took a while. After I got the cut I wanted, I ordered some red spray paint from Amazon. It came in a few days later, and so I got to work.
Now you on your own, Miles. Oh, slow down a little.
After I finished, my mom yelled at me about the paint smell in my room, so I let it dry outside. It's kind of funny to think about how some kids are probably trying to hide weed or whatever, and I'm worried about spray paint. Anyways, as I was letting it dry outside, I heard something. Well, that's just wonderful. I decided to just repaint it and let it dry in a separate room. I've also spray painted some old shoe soles that'll be attached to the bottom of the suit. They're gonna be these things that you see on Miles's feet. Now, I'm not quite finished with the suit, but I'll have a part 2 to show more progress. And the materials I've been using aren't even that expensive or complicated. And that's because I saw this TED Talk of Steve Lacy explaining how you can do more with what you have than what you think. Every year for Christmas, he would ask for an expensive MacBook because he wanted to make music. But then eventually he got his hands on an iPod Touch and he realized that was enough. He was able to make one of his most popular songs with it.
That's my lead line right there.
And that's the mentality I have with this Spider-Man project and why I have so much confidence in it. But also, I feel like making this film is a step in the right direction for me. I've been making a bunch of TikToks these past 2 years and it's been a lot of fun. But I sort of feel like I'm Hiro Hamada from Big Hero 6. Let me explain. Hiro is sort of like this boy genius who graduated high school when he was 13. But instead of going to college, he's been wasting his time going to these bot fights where you bet money on your robot to win the fight. It's actually illegal and his older brother Tadashi encourages him not to do it. Obviously because it's illegal, but also...
You're going bot fighting, aren't you?
There's a fight across town. If I book, I can still make it.
When are you gonna start doing something with that big brain of yours?
And I feel like for me, TikTok has been my version of the bot fights. God has been my Tadashi telling me you're capable of more. And I'm not saying I'm quitting TikTok, but I've put so much of my worth and energy into it because I thought it was the best I could do. But Tadashi, or God, is like, you know, this is cool, but what are you really going to use that creative brain of yours and push past what you think you can do? So that's what I'm gonna do. And it's honestly ironic because I never even wanted to do TikTok in the first place. I was a wannabe YouTuber throughout all of high school and was failing miserably. It wasn't until senior year when COVID hit when I decided to just give TikTok a try, and here we are now. So that's what I'm doing with this film. Just giving it a try. And I'm not saying I'm gonna become a director or actor, but I'm also not saying I won't. I'm just not putting limits on myself because you never know what you can do unless you do it.